Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Miracle. I talk about everything from family, faith, and business. And today I'm excited because I am not talking about my pregnancy today. Psych. Okay, I'm just joking. I know some of y'all are like, why am I even here? I will give an update at the end, and it has to do with why this video is even late and why I sound like this, and yeah, a lot of other stuff. But anyways, today we are going to talk about how to hear from God. And the reason why we are doing this video is because after my last video, I was praying and asking God, what should this next video be about? And at the time, he said absolutely nothing. And so I went about my week. And over the course of the week, I got like 2 text messages and 1 phone call. And all of them said like the same thing. And it was almost like a shady compliment, in my opinion. But anyways, they all kind of said it like, will you hear from God more? And I was like, okay, the first time. And then the second time, but then the third time I was like, okay, God, is this something you want me to like talk about? And how I hear from God is kind of like visual. Like I see it in my head. And so that's another point. Like a lot of people, it's not this audible voice like, yes, talk about this. It's literally a flash in my thought and I see the word yes, which is aligned with how I think and how I create. Because when I'm creating something like a flyer or even like an event or helping somebody with a business, I always would be like, hold on, let me see it. And I close my eyes, almost like I'm daydreaming, but I have to like see it in my head. And that is how God speaks to me. So that's one thing. I'm looking at my notes. So that is the backstory to how I decided to even talk about this. So the first thing I want to point out is that we are spirit beings and God has always been talking to you. I hope this makes sense. So in the Bible it says, before you were created in your womb, in your mother's womb, I knew you. So God has always known you even before you were born. And he's been talking to you. Also your flesh, your emotions, logic, things that you hear repeatedly, things that you see all the time, and other people that has influence over you, and also spiritual and demonic spirits. Like all of that is going on and speaking to you at a given time. So it's your responsibility to decipher who's who and who you're going to listen to. And so how do you do that? Well, okay, so an example of this. When you get a text message from someone and it's like so funny, it's so hilarious because you can hear the person while you're reading the text message. And you can do that because you have a really good relationship with that person. So you can hear how they would have pronounced that word, or if they would have been sarcastic or smirk or anything like that. Like that comes with having a relationship with someone. You don't actually hear them. It's not the audible voice of them, but you can just like hear them. And that's the same way with hearing God's voice. It's not like, I am God, do not go this way. It's just like this feeling inside of you, or a thought pops up, or you're like, oh, I don't know why I did that, but it was the Holy Spirit. Anyways, so first thing I would do is to ask and pray. So simply ask God, in the name of Jesus, I pray that you speak to me and you speak to me clearly, that I know your voice. That's it. Start saying that prayer every day, not almost every day. And then you have to start to form a relationship with God. And I know people say that, like, that's easier said than done. But how do I do that? So we can start off by knowing God's personality. And we've all been to plenty of weddings where they'll say, love is patient, love is kind, love is not boastful, blah, blah, blah. Okay, God is love. So we can use that simple saying that people say what love is and use that as a criteria to know who's who when you're trying to make a decision or figure out, is this God? We can use it as a process of elimination. So God is kind, God is patient. So if you're trying to figure out, that little voice is telling you like, nah, we about to fight, we about to go off, we about to be messy, we about to do all of this stuff, like you can just be like, that's not of God, because that's not God's personality. So we can just eliminate a lot of things based off of that test right there. The next thing is to know God's language. And how do you know God's language? Is simply by reading the Bible. And I know I was there. I was like, it don't take all of that. There's that plenty of uncles and aunts that'll be like, I've read the Bible cover to cover 5 times. And I'm like, okay. Even my dad, my dad and my grandma, she would just like be reading the Bible all day. And I was like, okay. But spoiler alert, the Bible is so messy. Like, it's baby mama drama, it is love triangles, collusion, corruption, pretty much any situation you can think of, the Bible has talked about it, and it's been even more juicier than you can think. So I'm telling you, you should read the Bible, you won't be disappointed. So this is how I started reading the Bible, which is important because I have a translation Bible. That's one, because reading the King James Version, like, that was so hard. And also, I read the Bible on the Bible app. So there's subtitles in the Bible. I guess like breakdown of stories. I don't know if there's an official name, but in my Bible, it's just subtitles. And because I used to read like a chapter or a verse, but a chapter can get really long. So I read the subtitles, and it'll be probably like 5 or 6 verses, and then I interpret what I read. Well, first of all, when I go to read the Bible, I ask God, please interpret this to me, speak to me through your word. That's how you guys say. And then go ahead and start reading those subtitles, and then just jot down, how did you interpret what you read? And it never fails. You will find, or you will get something from it, or something to encourage you in your situation, no matter what. I guarantee. So just try it. And so we are so used to hearing stories from our pastor and YouTubers or just other people in general, but it's third party information. So go to the source, go to the Bible, and read it for yourself. And I promise you, you're going to be like, oh, it's good. Like, I find myself sometimes reading a whole chapter because I just want to find out like what happens at the end. Okay. The next thing I would say, okay, so the next one is actually a hard one. So we've already asked God to speak to us, and for it to be clear, we have a criteria. We know what God is, his personality, so we can kind of do a process of elimination. We are going to start reading our Bible more so we can find out his language and hear from him through reading the word. And so the next one is timely obedience. In my opinion, I feel like this is it's a struggle to do timely obedience because now it's a journey. So please believe it's going to take a while. You have to develop a relationship with God. And once you get to that point where you're on timely obedience, this is what I pray about a lot now is that I hear God's voice and I act quickly. So when you get to that point, it's a struggle because 9 times out of 10, God is not going to be, he's not telling you something like, not, he's not telling you something good, something that you want to do. I'll give you an example of when the first time I really, really remember being quote unquote tested by God. And that sounds so dun dun dun, but it really wasn't. So this is in the height of my photography business. I am booking photo shoots left and right. So I'm making a lot of money and there's a camera that goes on sale during Christmas. And so I purchased it. I'm so excited. I already have a camera that I've been using, but now I have a second camera. Like, I think I'm legit. And the Holy Spirit, as soon as it comes in, he says, this isn't your camera, give it to Christina. And I was like, no, 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 no. Christina didn't even say she wanted a new camera. And she's always been interested in photography, but not like that, where I was just like, what? Why? Like, I am the one doing photography. I'm the one that has the business and set it all up. You want me to give this away? And he was like, yes. And it was over the course of 3 days. I opened it, and the whole time it's like, this isn't your camera. This isn't your camera. Give it to Christina. Give it to Christina. And so it took me 3 days. I talked to Chris and I gave the camera to Christina, and I was like, I don't know what this is, but I have to give this to you because the Holy Spirit is telling me over and over that this is supposed to be your camera. And it's so crazy because Christina still to this day isn't a photographer, but I definitely saw her entrepreneur hat switch from when I gave her the camera. And now she has literally 3 businesses. The Cam Hibachi, it's the 360 photo booth, and it's also an event hall. So it was double. It was God testing me to see, will you be obedient and give up something that you quote unquote treasured? Because I have something else for you. And then also trigger the belief and the faith in Christina, I believe, in her life to start her entrepreneur journey. So hearing from God in that timely obedience is hard because it's going to be something in the moment where you feel like is an unfair advantage, or it's almost it's not a good look for you. Like, it makes you uncomfortable and you feel like you're giving up something, but it's really God orchestrating everything else in the back end to either build your character, build somebody else's character, make you learn a lesson, or incorporate a skill that you need to where you're going. So that timely obedience is so crucial. And when you guys get to that point where you're hearing God and you already know it's his voice, and it's going to be hard to act and act quickly. So that's something I am definitely believing for. Holy Spirit, when I hear your voice, let me obey and act quickly, because the devil will try to come in and he's competing with your thoughts too. So he's telling you, no, that's stupid. Don't do that. You got other things to worry about. You can really use that camera, all of that. So you got to act quickly because you don't want those other thoughts to flood your mind. But yes, that is the end of that portion. We're going to talk about my pregnancy update. So the reason why I sound like this and there's no makeup on this video is late is because I have been sick this entire week. I've had another cold. These babies, They, I love them to death, but they are taking, I don't think they're taking my beauty because everybody says I'm glowing like crazy, but I just think it's the makeup, really. But I am grateful that they are not stealing my beauty, but they are stealing or taking my energy and my immune system. So I just now getting over another cold. I'm not really over it yet, but I had enough energy to do this video because I actually got text messages from people like, yo, what's up? It's Wednesday. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And I'm wearing this shirt. It's not Wednesday now, but I'm wearing this shirt because it is my AKA anniversary. So shout out to Follow 7. I love you guys. We are 14 years. Oh, Lord, it doesn't feel like 14 years. But Webby tagged me and she said 14, so I believe her, but it still sounds like really. Anyways, we had our first MFM, which is a maternal fetal medicine doctor's appointment. So when you're having twins, you have your original OB doctor, and then you'll have a high risk doctor that you see as well. So I saw that doctor for the first time this week, and it was a really good appointment. I really like that doctor. He's like a younger Black guy, and yeah, his vibe was like really really cool, and the tech as well, because you spend almost like an hour taking pictures and videos of the baby, and so her spirit was really nice. And she's believing for another child as well. She's recently, well, not recently, but she's remarried. She has a 17-year-old. And so I was actually telling her my story, and she was like, oh, can I get Dr. Bridges' number? Can she pray for me? Which is kind of funny. But I am praying for her now because she's believing for a child as well. And I feel like, yeah, I'm going to pray for her too. But anyways, I want to publicly apologize to Marley because last video I said Mila was on this side and Marley was on that side, and Marley's more active than Mila, but I was wrong. Mila is laying down like this and Marley is laying on top of her like this. So they're both of their heads are on this side and there's 4 feet on the other side. So I was blaming Marley for kicking me more, but it's both of them. So it's all 4 of their feet literally kicking on my left side. So Mila, I'm sorry, and I'm not gonna do that when you guys get here. I'm not gonna blame one twin over the other because it was both of you guys. But anyways, everything looks really good. They're in the 61 percentile as far as growth and weight, which I'm so excited for. And he also said that twins usually don't go past 38 weeks. So that would actually put me at the beginning of March, even though my 40-week due date is March 16th. But since they're projecting that they'll come by 38 weeks, that means the beginning of March that they'll make their arrival. So we're praying for a healthy labor and delivery, healthy babies, all of that good thing, all of those good things. And yeah, pray that I get over this cold and I'm 100%. And thank you for watching.